The Ohio State spring game is Saturday. We have 5 days to prepare. We also have some snap judgments that we have to get to because Ryan Day talked after spring practice number 12 earlier on Monday, but we'll get to all of that. Maybe some bold predictions as well. So much more as we get into the live show at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint. Also brought to you by Tansky Power Sports. That is Justin Zwick, Jeremy Birmingham, Bobby Carpenter. I am Austin Ward. Just the loser without a headset.
Let's
gotta be somebody.
Let's dive into that first. We had a little equipment malfunction, so we're trying to work it out. If it doesn't sound typically as good as it does, well, blame
me. I'm the one who's not wearing a headset.
Blame the world. Just blame the world because sometimes things happen.
All right.
I always preferred the unplugged Nirvana. So that's what you're getting a little bit
That's what
today.
you're getting a little taste of.
Little unplugged. How about that?
I know. We'll work through it. We'll find corrections, but we know that you want to hear about what's happening on the final week of spring camp for Ohio State. So we're getting the rules of engagement for Saturday, Birm, after we heard from Ryan Day earlier in the Woody. Going to be something resembling more scrimmage activity than we've seen in a number of years.
What did he say? We're going to put a lot of football stuff out there, but
Yeah.
we're going to avoid.
I think he used the word game, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to put a lot of football stuff out there and avoid injuries. So how do you do that? I don't know. You can't guarantee it, but I think it's important, especially. Let me ask you this from your perspective. If you were Tavian St. Clair, would you want to be live on Saturday?
Ooh.
Because I think he should be.
For a guy like, yeah, probably. Just so that's going to give
Would you
them the
wanna-
best aspect of, like, this is who I can be.
What if you're behind like a makeshift?
Now, there's the issue, because that's what used to happen to us all the time. They would split the roster in half. You had a draft, basically. And so you have a hodgepodge of guys blocking for you versus a hodgepodge of guys coming after you. Then I don't love the black jersey being on, because a lot of stuff can happen. You can have a missed, assignment. I hurt my shoulder our freshman year because Tress Littles get hit and Jay Richardson tackled me on the sideline as I was, trying to throw the ball out of bounds or whatever happened, and I couldn't play the rest of the spring or the rest of that camp. So it stinks when you have that going on. I understand the need for it or the wanting to see, and I think we will, because what Ryan talked about today was this is our team. We don't have to worry about after spring somebody leaving or this or that. The other. We have, everybody says 51, but we have 20, however many freshmen who just need to play, and they need to get on the field, and they need to see what college football is all about. So I think what this weekend is going to look like is you get those young, get the older guys who don't need as many reps, get them in, get them out. They're safe. Let these young guys come in and really get a feel for what it's like to play in the shoe and just get those reps. And if Tavian, either way, I guess I'm okay with it, because I think he's just such a big, strong guy that, he's going to be okay. But
I think there's a couple things with here that we could look at. Number one, I think that Ryan's smart enough, so I don't think he'll give Tavian like a whole second team offensive line. I'm guessing because a lot of those guys need to play. You're talking about Austin Sareveld being out, Philip Daniels being out. Like Gabe Van Sickle, if he's healthy, like he's going to be playing some. I think they'll probably leave Carson in there for a while. They'll probably leave Luke Montgomery. Like those guys get a little more work, and so you'll get Julian in and out, and then you'll probably get Tavian in there with those guys. Maybe some of the first group is receivers, second group receivers, but you want to find out about the running backs too. So they need to have
But they're not really
not that
available.
many,
That's
yeah.
the problem.
well, so you got to at least give those guys something to run behind. It can't just be wide open.
To be clear, Ryan Day said that they were going to go thud for a couple drives.
Those will be the drives where
That'll be
Jeremiah
starter.
Smith is on the field.
Where Jeremiah's on the field, where Julian's on the field, and then he says live except for the quarterbacks, but we'll see. So
I think with Julian, though, I think that this – not Julian, but Tavian, I think this is something that can benefit him, because when you're a guy that's like that and you're as big and as athletic as he is, like being live can show that, like, hey, when you walk by and like, oh, down, tag, you're it.
That's
these are my
it's also not a
intangibles.
real sack.
Yes.
This is what I can do. I can
Tavian can
keep the play alive.
He can outrun some guys. He can
Run
probably
through a
pull
tackle.
through some tackles. Now they'll be like, hey, like, let's be smart here. If you've got him wrapped up, there'll be a quick whistle on it. We don't need him to get high load and everything else. But I think you will see him, like, let him get out a little bit. Let him go run. I mean, he looks like Cam Newton out there. I mean, realistically, like, that's his build, his frame. Maybe not quite as tall, but
or quite as athletic.
Or quite as athletic, but I mean, he's pretty darn impressive, and he's only his second-year guy, so like he's still going to keep growing. But I think that for him is something that can play into his advantage, because he's just not somebody who, if you do have him as a quarterback, like we just have to sit him back there in the pocket and let him go.
I think that's how they're going to use him when he is the quarterback. So
Like,
you kind of
let's
got to
run.
use him that way now as you're preparing him to, because he's just such a big body. And you mentioned the Cam Newton comparison, and that's how they use Cam, and when you have that type of player back there, you can do that. So you got to practice him the way you're going to play him. Now, you can't do that all the time.
No.
So you can't be live all the time, but there are some
I
opportunities.
could see him getting like 2 drives of live. Like, hey, let's get out there. Especially start moving the ball.
You're going to be live now. Like, be ready to rock and make sure you're checking.
We came in here, you did one thud. Like, we're going to liven it up. You've got 2 drives left. Like, maybe just one if you put together a really nice one. But we want to see, maybe 8 to 10 snaps, 12 snaps of you being live and what that ultimately looks like with you as a quarterback. So we'll run some legit, like, RPO zone read stuff where you are a viable threat to run the ball and what that does to the rest of the defense.
Bob, are you surprised to see some of the shift back to more of a real game? We've had 5-6 years of it trending in the other direction. That a part of it is I think maybe the calendar with the transfer portal and protecting rosters, but also so much work gets done in those first 14 practices that it's felt like more of a celebratory event to get to practice 15. But maybe it's just a one-off that there's so many new faces that need reps, as Jay-Z mentioned, not just the portal guys being in the horseshoe for the first time, but true freshmen. Maybe this isn't going to be the case forever, but are you surprised that it's the way it's set up, structured this week?
I call it celebration. Painting was a gift, Todd.
Keeping it.
So I think it's, number one, you have 26 freshmen. Like, these guys, they've seen a lot of them. Like, okay, buddy, like, let's see. I don't think Legend Bay is going to play, but like even some of the transfer, like let's go see what these guys can do a little bit. Like quarterback's a little bit unique, but some of those other skill guys, like, and he always says like, be smart. Yeah. We're going to go live. That doesn't mean we're going to blindside block our own dudes. We're not cutting guys. Like we're not going to try to maim somebody else. Like guys are going down, get to the ball, finish on it. You can do a punch out, but let's not try to like helmet down, spear a dude in the neck. So I think that there's an element of that, but getting the young guys some reps, and also some of the transfer guys, like Dominic Kelly, like he just played 1 year at Georgia, like so he's really a early young player.
He's not a 1,000 rep guy.
No, the 1,000 rep dudes, get them off the field, but the guys that are young, you got to see this, and you can show people more because there's not like, hey, guys sending texts during the game, they get back up, hey. Look at this offer. Look at this offer. I mean, honestly, spring game.
You can show them how good they are.
Spring game, dude. That's a live combine, man. Let's go out here. Let's see what we can do. Oh, look at this. Hey, nice job today. We got this 1 year, $500,000.
Who's his agent?
Yeah. Who's his agent, dude? Forget that. DM me, slide in my DMs. I forget my name. Just put my
hashtag on
TikTok
the back,
or Instagram on the back. Come right here. Put your offers. You don't have that anymore. So I think that'll probably ease concerns a little bit as well. And really, outside of the offensive line, they're fairly in running back room. They're pretty darn healthy. And running backs you knew coming in, but like receivers, you've got a lot of them. DBs, linebackers, tight end room, like D-line. And some of those D-linemen you need to see too, like what they can actually do. I know you run by and you're like, oh, got him. But like, can you actually get them? Can you get them to the ground?
Yeah, and that's the next step in that adventure for the defensive line. And if you're looking for yours anywhere, head to Tansky Power Sports, your one-stop shop for ATVs, dirt bikes, golf carts, and more. Maybe even headsets. I'll have to go check if they've got that inventory for me on my ongoing adventure here. But whether you're looking for speed, power, or versatility, Tansky Power Sports has something for everyone with the best brands and expert service. Visit Tansky Power Sports today at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road, or browse their huge selection online at Tansky Power Sports. Tansky Power Sports, where the adventure begins.
You know what you need? You should have got Kevin Reese at practice and wear a headset with the green dot.
That'll be the first place that I stop to look for help. If Kevin doesn't have it, nobody does.
That's very true.
We'll see. And I need some headset communication because I feel like I'm on the outside.
You need a green sticker.
I do need that, a little lightning bolt. But there is that interesting dynamic, Birm, of Saturday with not being able to really see the rushing attack.
Yeah.
With Austin Sareveld out, Phillip Daniels out. We know that Josh Padilla has missed all of camp. Jay Cook has been banged up as well. That's 4 of your top 8 or 9, plus your top 4 running backs, ostensibly, 4 of the top 5, I guess we should say. Jacoby Jackson is right there, and he's healthy. Your hands are tied there. Carlos Lachlan talked about it on Friday. He wasn't concerned, but for a spring game, you'd have to be concerned about the run game because it's not really going to be part of the arsenal.
It's
Not that matters. It's not. It's a spring
because
game.
for Jacoby, he's 25 years old. He's in year 7 of college football, and obviously he's a new guy at Ohio State. But running back is the easiest position in the sport to get acclimated. You walk in, you know how to, you hit
a hole,
and then you go. So
like that.
Yeah, just like that. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. Everyone can do it.
He didn't say that to Locke on Friday, by the way.
Yeah, but A gap.
We really do, Locke.
Yeah, what did he do?
He coached the easiest
So
position.
you got the A, B, and C gap, huh? You just tell him which one to go.
We all know that this is the facts, but I mean, how many carries he'll get, I don't know. I think that Saturday you look at this as an opportunity for Tavian St. Clair and Justin Martin and the bevy of new receivers to figure out what they can do. At times, I think it's probably going to feel a little bit glorified 7-on-7-ish because I don't think.
Well, I was just going to say, are they going to go back to the 2001 spring game where they went 4 wide the entire game?
That honestly is what ours would turn into a lot because we'd be so beat up front. You get a running back or 2 hurt, and then it's just okay. Well, let's
Quick
get
routes
11
and just
personnel and let's just start getting the ball out.
Yeah.
Like you have 10 plays you can run on offense, 4 things you can do on defense. And
it's supposed to be 80 degrees, thunderstorms coming in the late
We
afternoon.
got Brim Cantori
So,
back in the
they're
fold.
going to want to hurry this up. So you don't want to get too caught up in having a bunch of incompletions. And
I don't think you're going to have 4
the clock
15-minute
doesn't
quarters.
matter,
I
Birm.
mean, it matters to me because I want regular times.
They don't have to.
no, you don't.
No.
Ours used to take 3.5
Oh,
hours.
it was
so
the
terrible.
worst.
Now, the 2-hour spring games are good, but it is just an interesting situation that Ryan Day and Arthur Smith and Carlos Lockman are going to find themselves in because, as you said, you're not only are you without Bo and Isaiah that you knew that you weren't going to have, but now Legend and Turbo, who you thought would have a big role in this type of
I think
scrimmage.
Turbo especially because he didn't get a chance to do a whole lot last year.
And so you wonder how much of an opportunity is there for him to become a part of this offense heading into the fall. And I think that missing this week is pretty important for him.
Which worries you more, on the offensive line or running back room with guys missing?
Well, Birm just said that the running backs have the easiest job in the sport.
Yeah.
I know, but he didn't mean it.
No, I mean, obviously,
It's not the 100th time I've heard him say it.
I think the biggest concern you have to have with the running backs is that Ryan Day was very clear a week ago that one of his major concerns, and he's been saying this for the last few months, was the lack of explosion in the run game. And so while you think that an offseason of getting bigger and stronger for Bo Jackson and Isaiah West maybe helps alleviate some of that, until you actually see it.
Their left arms are huge.
Yeah, you just don't. The right arms not so much, but you just don't know what you're going to get out of those guys. And so I think you would have really liked to have been able to see some of it, but now you don't.
You still have to work on the run game throughout spring camp, right, Bob? I mean, what's the balance there?
And I think you've got to work on it because you're putting. That's a lot of what Ryan talked in the presser day about his vision, blending that. He's been here almost a decade now, which is kind of crazy to believe. Mm-hmm. We're starting to round second base is the 3rd longest tenure for any Ohio State head coach, which is wild because he got he's so young when he took the job. It was only here a year as an assistant. And bringing Arthur Smith in to kind of blend that vision of what does he want to do? So how does that run game look? Some of the tight ends, I think you can do it with some of the other guys. I mean, and this is honestly, it's a chance for guys like Jackson.
Stanley Jackson.
Stanley Jackson,
Yeah. I was going to say Stanley's son, but I was like, why can't I think of his name? It's because it's the same as his dad's. It's a big day for those guys. And you can still get a look at, can we block this appropriately? There's still teachable moments on there. And we like this, maybe we don't like that, to be able to look through things schematically of how they translate from the NFL game into the college game.
Well, we did a fantasy spring game draft over with Adam King from Television's, Television.
Television is Adam King.
It's Television.
I drafted Stanley Jackson Jr., so I'm got my fingers crossed.
He's going to have a big day.
Are you in a fantasy draft for this?
That's what we decided
What
to do.
is wrong with you?
It wasn't our choice. It was on wall to wall.
I just show up when people ask me to.
That's not our content.
A fantasy draft.
Fantasy draft for the spring game.
Well, part of it is you've got to hedge on how much you think they're going to play.
Right.
That's why I said
That's why you
I
took
don't
Stanley
want
Jackson
Jeremiah.
Jr.
No, Jeremiah is a wasted pick. I would try to pick the best player you think who's going
You
to
get
play the
Desi
most.
Jones or something like that.
All right, we'll throw some names out and some bold predictions when we come back in the second half of the live show at Roosters. As a reminder, this is one of the absolute best appetizer threes days in the rotation, Bob. We got those Mott sticks.
Oh, they're delicious.
It's a Hall of Famer.
The marinara sauce, they never let you down. And I've even been told you can get them with a Nashville dry
Your
rub.
little Nashville dry rub.
I
Just
mean-
found out about that today and can't wait.
You want to take it to the next level.
That's that next.
That is the next.
We're
next.
living
First
in
and
the
second
future
round
right
draft
now.
The
picks
standard
over.
just went up today.
Standard is the standard. But that is the benefit of hanging out at the Roosters on Olentangy River.
Once
because
Nicole's not here to hold us down anymore.
it's like, no, you can't do that. But guess what? Nikki, she says, hey, get a little extra dry rub on
Get a
top of
little
that
of that dry
mozzarella
rub.
sticks.
Can't
And
wait.
if you're dining in, by the way, those will be $3 on Tuesday at your local participating Roosters. I'm biased. The best one is on Olentangy, but they're all great. And we're going to be back into this one to continue the live show brought to you by Roosters and Tansky Power Sports right after this.
The Roosters Foundation helps us be able to give back to the community. It's part of our culture within the company.
They donate to organizations that are near and dear to their heart, and we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long time.
They always go above and beyond to help support our foundation to further help veterans.
It's just a wonderful feeling to know that Roosters supports the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Welcome back into the live show at Roosters. It is a fun, casual joint, and you teased it, Birm. I mean, I guess I thought we were going to make some bold P's. Might as well just go fantasy style with it. Some players to watch, some players you think that might have big games in the spring game. As Bob said, the key is you got to figure out who's actually going to play.
Yep. How much they're going to play? What are they going to look like? I'm going to go. I get the first
Because
pick.
the first thing you do is not who's going to play; it's who's not going to play.
Yep.
And that answers some other questions for you, right?
I'm going with the landman, number one.
Ooh.
First draft pick.
Brock Boyd.
They're going to throw the ball a lot. He's going to play a lot. He's a freshman.
I'm going to
They're
tell
gonna get him
you.
out there. The landman is going to deliver.
What have you been most impressed about with Brock Boyd?
A lot, everything. I mean, he's big. He's fast. He runs really good routes.
Smooth.
Like he catches everything. Talks some trash to IGB. Like he does it all. Like you got there. Like okay, the guy's brother ran a 4.39, and he's 6'1", good height, pretty built. Like you can tell that his dad was a high school football coach. He came in fairly polished,
A receivers coach.
physically developed. Yeah, and his dad like talking through him with stuff when he was in town
Last weekend.
and just going through like how routes, and he's sitting there talking to Schleggs and I about how coaching top of the route, gobbling, like attacking the defensive back and associating times with all these different things. It was crazy.
It's one of the reasons why he was at the top of the list for Brian Hartline last year in the cycle, in a recruiting cycle when players all over the country are being talked about. And Ohio State plucked Brock Boyd away from TCU and tried to hide him for.
Yeah, was that his other big offer?
He had been committed to TCU. That's where he was going to go. But
Gotcha. I didn't remember that.
From your perspective, obviously we expect Jeremiah Smith will play 1 or 2 series at most. Do you suspect Brandon Innes will do the same? Do you suspect Kyle Parker will be in that conversation? Who else at wide receiver, and what we think might end up turning into a glorified 7-on-7 day, who else do you think is not going to be available? Because that's the reason why one of my first picks in our fantasy draft that we did over on Wall to Wall Sports was Desi Jones, because watching him in the slot, watching him work,
What number is he?
number 8.
Okay.
It's like 3, or is it 3, 6, and 8?
Yeah.
Are all guys
Well,
that
3,
are
5, 6, 8.
or 3, 5, 6. They're all like interchangeable. I think.
And 7, because
You know,
Philip Bell is as well. So they're all pretty much the same. 1, 3, 5, 6,
I think
7.
outside of Jeremiah and Brandon, they're going to probably play a lot of those guys. Like I think those other guys will get a lion's share of the first half reps.
Desi Jones is interesting to me, and again, as a second-year receiver, I quickly asked the landman the other day. I'm like, "Hey, you hit that wall yet?" And he's like, "Kinda." And
Well, first he said, what?
yeah, because it was a pretty random question, but that once you're in the program for the first few months and you get everything going in the right direction, there's going to be a moment for all those young guys when it hits and you're like, okay, I'm hitting a little bit of a plateau, and how do you go from there? But obviously Brock, as you
Elite
mentioned,
preparation.
his background, all of the things about him make you think that he'll get through that pretty quick. But it is just interesting over the course of the last 2 weeks because of Legend Bay's injury, because of Brock, hitting a little bit of a plateau there. A lot of the guys that were the talk of the first couple of weeks of practice have not been so much the last 2 weeks. And so you were the one on Student Appreciation Day who was watching Desi Jones. You're like, man, who's that kid?
I kept looking down and like finding that number, like, oh, geez.
And
Desi Jones,
between
man.
him and Philip Bell, I think that this is a real opportunity for them to remind people that they exist. And
Philip Bell
Can
had
I-
been playing well before he got nicked up.
it's
a little bit.
unfortunate,
He
but
looked
like
good.
that, we talk about it all the time. That's just the nature of this business. We talk about the new guys. We talk about the old guys. We talk about the new guys and the stars. We talk about the freshmen, and we talk about Jeremiah Smith.
What about one new guy we haven't really talked about? Chris Henry.
Well, that's the question. I think he's in line for like a lot of work this weekend. I think he's going to be a primary focus because he's a guy that the fans will know.
Oh, they're going to want to see him.
They're going to want to know that.
If you go back and watch the freshman year with Jeremiah, remember they did everything they could in their power to try to get him the football.
Yeah, but they also said he's going to be limited in the spring game.
Yes, but they tried to get him before they
want to
took him
show
out, trying to show him a touchdown. We're going to get this guy a touchdown.
He had a half of a quarter to play in his first spring game. Chris Henry is going to have 3.5 quarters to play. So I think he's going to be a guy that is really in the mix a lot. The question is, how does it work when if you're live with quarterbacks who are having pretty poor protection? If I think that's why I picked Desi Jones instead of Chris Henry Jr. last week, because I thought that the quicker routes, the stuff behind the line of scrimmage, the slants, the crossers, that's more Desi and Phillip and those guys. So we'll see. I think Chris Henry's certainly going to be a primary
If you
target.
listen to Hankins talk earlier, I mean, you kind of said the quiet part out loud, like they want to work on some catch and run stuff. And so a lot of times that's going to be more of your slot receivers underneath, inside, crossing routes, catching underneath. And so
receiver screens.
Yeah, that might be part of the live package of like, okay, we need our guys to turn into running backs. We just can't have them run and then when they get tagged. There's a big difference between touching a guy in the open field and getting them to the ground.
Do you think for a guy like Chris Henry this week, one of the things that I think he will be able to put on display is whether or not he's capable of being one of those bigger perimeter blockers that can actually choose to do that?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, like we had a conversation watching that Student Appreciation Day practice, there are times if he knows the ball's not going to him, I've watched Chris kind of be a little lethargic in those moments. So I'm interested to see if when there's 50, 60,000 people there, if that part of his game turns on, because he's a big physical kid, but some of that blocking stuff is want to, and it seems like it's been a primary focus of Ryan Day.
This is a program where there's no want to about it. You either go do it or they're not going to trust you to be out on the field.
That's really not been the case the last 2 years or so. There was a little bit of a slip.
But you've seen that Ohio State paid the price for that.
Yep.
And so I don't think that there's any tolerance or negotiation about effort and about perimeter blocking. We've heard that from Cortez Hankton. We've heard that from Arthur Smith. We've heard that from Ryan Day at the top.
Carlos Loughlin talking about his running backs going to do the same
and
thing.
that those guys, in terms of explosive gains, that the running backs can assist that by going to block for those receivers on the underneath routes or the screens and those things that, go find some work to get done. That has to happen. And so there's not a path, I don't think, to playing time for Chris Henry Jr. if he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't be the first and definitely won't be the last true freshman to come in and be like, not know that that's, how to do that or to have the physical ability, the strength to hold up and do that. Everyone knows that he's big, that he's fast, that he's got good hands. That's not unusual for Ohio State wide receivers, but more so maybe now than ever, if you're not going to do the complete package work, this rotation is going to be larger, but you won't be part of it if you can't do that.
Yeah.
I think they have sacrificed a little bit of that with, and Jeremiah talked, I think one of the most notable things that I heard in all of camp, Bob, was the play that's driving him crazy was the pick six in the Cotton Bowl against Miami, where he could have maybe done something a little bit different physically on the perimeter and it cost his team. Like, if Jeremiah is doing that, hopefully that's a message that's trickling down to everybody else. I would assume it is, but like that, if there were other players who maybe got a little bit less on their plate because they gave so much else to the passing attack, it came at the detriment, I think, of the overall offense, and they're not going to make that trade again.
No, because I have so many guys. Like when you have that many talented guys, it's all right. Well, how can I differentiate myself? Okay, never taking a playoff.
You fit in or you get out.
And some of it is too, like those guys working hard in the weight room and. Oh gosh, what's his name from Ellis?
Kyle
Parker.
Like, you see how much bigger he's gotten, like physically developed, and even Chris Henry. I think he's put on probably over 15 pounds since he's been here. So, like his ability now to block at a high level is improved.
Yeah.
So, like some of it's not just the desire to do it on the field; it's the ability to do it from the desire in the off season to like work hard, strain in the weight room, and develop yourself physically so you can handle some of those DBs.
How many more carries on Saturday does Favor Aki get than Jacoby Jackson? Because I think if we were going to guess like number of carries, I'm going to go Favor first, Stanley Jackson Jr. second, and then Jacoby third.
I would say that's.
I'd probably go with that.
I would say it's 1, 2, drop, 3.
I don't know how much we're going to see of the running game in general. Like,
5
I don't.
wides.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that any of them will get.
You know how
double
pissed off
digits.
You know how
the average Ohio State
excited
fan is
everybody's going to be if they go 5
No,
wide?
they're going to be pissed because
No,
we don't
no.
see it ever in the regular season. People have been clamoring for years, like, spread them out, go 5 wide. Where is everyone?
Air raid, baby, Kentucky. Let's
Yeah,
go.
but it's also a reminder that the spring game is not a real game, and they have to get through it some way or the
It's
other.
also just what you have.
Somewhere, Bam Childress and Tori in Washington are lighting a cigar right now.
Exactly.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
this is a little bit like Chopped, man. Like, they give you the ingredients. Like, I can't make you a steak when I don't have any beef. Like, all I have here is some tuna.
I gave you it's a tuna steak.
We're getting a tuna salad.
I want a steak.
We're going to
Well,
mix
I
all this together.
don't have any steak. I don't have any beef.
I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Here we go.
Well,
Where's
Ryan
the
Day,
beef?
when he was leaving the podium, was kind of asked about the format of the rosters and if they were going to draft like we saw Urban Meyer do throughout much of his tenure. And Ryan was like, well, it's going to be offense and defense, and we really can't do anything else because there aren't enough healthy offensive linemen. And that's like really drove that point home. And I know that people, are probably sick of hearing about that, and they want to see the offensive line better. They want to, they want change. They want Ian Moore at left tackle or this, that, and the
Ian
other
Moore
thing.
will be at left tackle.
He will be there.
I promise you that.
You're
They don't
gonna-
have anybody.
Well, and how do you get better? You practice hard. And what happens when you practice hard? Things happen sometimes, and you got to get cleaned up.
So, I mean, that's not to say like that you shouldn't make assessments about what happens on Saturday, but the offensive linemen that are out there. But I think there's most likely, and because of the thud, because of the tapping with sacks, like the offensive line is probably not going to look great on Saturday. Like I think you should just be prepared for that.
Yeah, that's why defensively, my prediction, my prick for the pick of the day is Kari Wilder, the freshman defensive end,
34?
from California, who was the highest ranked defensive player in the Ohio State recruiting class outside of Jay Timmons, who's a guy we expect to see a lot of. But Wilder has been slowly, from what I've been told, starting to make that move at the defensive end position. And I don't know, even though Quaversaw is a second-year player, he didn't play a ton at Alabama because he had his injuries that he struggled with at the second half of last year. I still don't think he's going to be counted on much on Saturday because he has a very clearly defined role, I think, growing for this team, and Kari Wilder doesn't. So I'm going to go make a bold prediction here, and that Kari Wilder is going to have 3 tap sacks or total sacks.
I like that.
That's actually
I think
conservative for a spring
Garrett
game.
Stover's going to have more.
There we go. Now we're getting spicy.
I don't know if they'll blitz, so that's the only thing. Like, they've got a lot of things they can put
I
in
hope
the
they
bag.
don't blitz.
And I don't know if they're going to be able to let them out. They'll do some, but depending on how much of their 3-down package they do, you'll be bringing another guy or two. And so there's that element. But, I mean, it can get bumpy in practice when they were trying to pick some of that stuff up just because you have a lot of guys who haven't really played.
I think when you're going into something like this, you kind of stay standard and just give them somebody in front of them that they can go block. And
Well, that was part of the success why Julian Sand had his best practice of spring a year ago on his steady climb
During the spring game.
was because they ran 2 defenses for the entirety of the spring. Like, they're not trying to win on Saturday, despite some of the stakes that you attach to it, or hot dogs, or cleaning up Buckeye Grove, or any of that other stuff. Like they're also not hoping Matt Patricia's wanting to put on public display. Hey, here's what I'm going to do.
Here's everything I'm going to do
with Earl Little this year. Check this out. Isn't it cool?
They should have the losers.
That's pretty cool.
They should,
so to speak.
They should have the losers of the spring game have to serve as like waiters for
Saddle up. That'd be in their uniform.
Oh, that would be great.
Just walk
That'd be
around.
No shower. You just have to stay in your uniform all afternoon.
That should be the penalty for losing the game.
Here's the problem: is like if I'm a starter and they pull, no, I'm staying in.
Yeah.
Yeah, this matters
I'm not
now.
serving.
I got in
Or
a
like-
fight with Tress. You remember our third year when it was freezing.
Was that the sleet and the
cold?
wind and
And he's like, "You're done." I'm like, "I'm not today. I didn't get all warmed up to stand over here and freeze. Now you're gonna let me say, oh, only 2 drives or a quarter? No, dude, I'm all lined up. I'm not gonna. You're gonna let me go shower and
What a,
put clothes on?
what a miserable day
It was
that was.
brutal. It was like 45 with sleet coming down.
Full game, 60
game.
minutes.
Playing, so I'm gonna run down on kickoff, dude. I don't care.
I'm excited to go back to the Kari Wilder thing. One of the matchups that I think fans should be interested in getting a chance to see is Kari Wilder and Sam Greer.
Yeah.
Going head to head for a quarter or two. I think that is going to be pretty instructive. I really love the idea of Jay Timmons and Jordan Thomas versus Brock Boyd and Chris Henry Jr. I think that's something I want to see in the second half.
Another guy, I'd watch Epi out there because I think Epi's had a pretty good spring, and he's got He's got a lot of size, but he's also, I feel like he's starting to figure out this pass rush thing a little bit too.
Well, Ryan Day talked on his press conference on Monday about the opportunity for Ian Moore, for Carter Lowe with other guys out. But that opportunity's been there for Epi as well. But Zion Grady's been a little bit dinged up, and they're trying to figure out who's going where. And, he was a guy that last spring a lot of people were like, hey, he was a late addition to the recruiting class in 2025, but he was not a player that, there were people that I trust out in California who said he was the best pass rusher in the state of California as a senior. And to go and steal him from UCLA in the late, signing period, that's what he's here for. It's been a year. It's time to make a move.
Time to go.
Time for the spring game on Saturday. Looking forward to it. Don't worry about Brim Cantori's
and don't worry
fear-mongering about the
weather.
Don't worry
about the sound.
It's going to be 80 and sunny.
Next week.
Well, I mean, you can worry about it because it's got to be better. The standard is the standard. We'll get it fixed because that's what is demanded of the live show at Roosters. It's a fun, casual joint. Thanks to Jay-Z, Bob, Birm, the whole team at Roosters, and Tansky Power Sports for bringing you this show. We'll get everything figured out so that we can break down what happened at the spring game. Get your mozzarella sticks on appetizer Thursday. They're $3. Dine in only at your participating fun, casual joint. Expecting to have Nicole Cox back next week to break down the spring game
let's
as
go.
well. So we'll see.
Nicole's notepad.
And we'll see what's on that notepad. And if you see us at the spring game, come say hi. We'd love to talk to you. And have a great week, folks. I'm Austin Ward. See you.